swear, getting the dogs settled and asleep is the hardest part of the podcast, but I think we've achieved it. Hi you guys, I'm not dead. I am just completely out of spoons. If you're unfamiliar with that, Google spoon theory. And I'll get into the mix-up of words later, but welcome to the Knitted Bean. My name is Echo, and I will be your host. I live in Montana with my husband and our two Boston Terriers, Lugnut and Izzy, who is also affectionately known as Granny. This is a nitty, nerdy, and sometimes sweary podcast with a side order of fandom or whatever other media I would like at the end. It is hot as balls today. Not as hot as it was yesterday, but it's pretty hot. It's June, and we typically don't get really hot until July, August, at which point it'll be over 100 or around 40 Celsius here for like a month or two. That's normal for us, but June is still like, we're just planting crops here in Montana. So this is like spring gliding into summer, but it's already in the 80s and 90s. It's like, I think it's like 84 or 27 degrees Celsius out here today. And we've had some wild weather lately. Some of you, especially if you're in the US, have probably seen it all over the news, and I can talk a little bit about that later. But for right now, I just want to say welcome back if you've been here before. I'm so glad that you are willing to wait an entire month for me to, you know, get my shit together and podcast again. And welcome if you are new or just came and watched, you know, one video and are back for your second. I'm so excited to see you here. I have watched my numbers creep up and we're over 200, which is really exciting. And I know it's because a couple other podcasters have mentioned me on their podcasts, and I really appreciate that. That Happy Llama, Grumpy Sheep, or Grumpy Sheep, Happy Llama, and I really need to work on the pronunciation, but Ananijuti Knits, who is a designer from Finland, have both mentioned me lately, so a big thank you to them for that. You can find me on the internet as The Knitted Bean on Instagram, Ravelry, and Ko-Fi. There is also an email for the podcast, which is knittedbean@gmail.com. And you can also message me on Discord if you'd like, where I am capital BBEAN #0199. So I guess the big, what do you call that, elephant? I was going to say duck in the room is I have not recorded in about a month, and there are a whole myriad of reasons. So at first it was, I just like missed, I don't know, I was late by like 3 days because my husband is out of school for the year, and I always find it extremely hard to record when there are other people in the house. I know that there are podcasters who can do it, and I'm always, you know, telling Aquila that it's just amazing to me how she can podcast with interruptions and like people coming in and out and whatnot. And I think it's really neat that they can, especially because it's just more realistic to life. But I can't, and I think part of that is just I have a lot of brain fog, and I can't handle that interruption and still know what I'm doing. And then I just had like a series of, I don't know what you would call it, medical issues after that just kind of kept delaying me, making it hard for me to have the energy or the ability to podcast. So it's always really intricate where to like draw the line of being open and honest about disability, and that, you know, what it's like to be a disabled person in the world, functioning or trying to function, and knitting and podcasting and just being, and like where to just respect my own privacy, because it's just not something that I need to share or want to share. But I've struggled a lot lately with various things. My lungs were not working well. I had a problem with access to one of my most important medications, which is an injection. And that's happened before. I think I've even mentioned it on here before, where, you know, I just can't get it because of whatever hang up at the pharmacy or with the manufacturer or whatever. In this case, it was the drug company themselves. They have a program that assists you with your copays, because my copay on it is a lot without that assistance. And so they changed the program, and it should have been fine, but it wasn't fine, and the program and the pharmacy couldn't work well together. And so it would have cost me over $3,000 to pick up the drug, which, I mean, we just don't have. That's more than our monthly income. And so I ended up going off of it for a couple of weeks, and I normally do the injection every 2 weeks. And because of that, then my lungs were not working as well. And because my lungs were not working as well, I had a lot of fluid buildup. So I often struggle with edema in my extremities, but this got to the point where it was like edema in my abdomen and in my face. And it was really affecting my ability to breathe and sit and do things. So there was that, and I went to the doctor and I got that dealt with, and I was getting better from that. And then I fell because I have bad balance. And then I had a lot of doctor's appointments to go to, and public service announcement, make sure you wear your sunscreen, because I burnt a lot as a child in the 80s without sunscreen, and I had to go get a precancer removed off my nose. And then I have also been struggling, and it might come up a lot in the podcast with, I know that a lot of times I will be talking and I will make a long pause because I'm searching for a word, and that's just something that I struggle with. But I've really struggled lately with not even being able to find, like, not even being able to use the right word. Like I'll look at one dog and I will say the other dog's name, or, you know, I might look at cheese and say, can you hand me the milk? And so it's got to be some form of aphasia that I'm struggling with, and I don't know why. It could be related to a couple of my diagnoses, or it could be something else. It's not something that I've always had, and it's definitely gotten worse. And I know I've already done it a couple times just during the intro, and I have recorded the intro probably 10 times. And so that makes it really, really hard to want to sit down in front of a camera and talk when you can't even, like, read an article out loud and say the right words or find the right words to speak. And I will be talking with my doctor about it. It's not going to kill me between now and 2 weeks from now when I go see my doctor and I have not, like, had a stroke or something like that. You know, I can smile just fine, although my husband checks all the time. Legs, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. But good girl. She's making a nest. So it's been a real struggle, like, medically lately, to have the energy and then feel like I have the ability to sit down. And I appreciate all the, you know, messages that I've got encouraging me, like, oh, we don't mind waiting, or, you know, we just want you to check in, or, you know, we hope you're not sick, or, you know, we hope you get better. But, you know, when you're disabled, it's like, yeah, I do still get sick, and getting sick can really make things worse. But even when I'm not sick, baseline, I'm still disabled, and I still have a lot of struggles that might make it difficult. So it's a trade-off. I don't feel bad about taking an entire month before I felt like I could sit down. And I'm sure that it probably won't be as smooth as it usually is. And maybe that'll get better, and maybe this is just the new normal. But that's the depressing life shit, whatever. Okay, so elephant out of the room. Elephant in the room out of the way. What else has been going on in the last month? A whole lot. So I live in Montana, and we've had a bunch of flooding, like big disaster style flooding, which the town that I live in, or the city that I live in, did flood, but the way that we're set up, it's not like, most of what flooded was not homes that people live in. It was more like industrial things, and that poses a whole different set of problems of like some of those areas that are Superfund sites with chemicals in the ground that probably really didn't need to flood, and it flooded our water treatment plant. So that had to shut down for a day, so we all had to conserve water for a day, but they did a great job getting it back up and running. And I mean, I feel like we came out of that very unscathed. I do have some pictures of like some very high water around town, which I might or might not put in.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all. Too many things going on, I can't keep track of them all. From people dropping a bomb to people putting up walls. I feel like life is on hold, perception stuck in a vault. I know that time can heal all, but how much time till we fall? It's awfully chilly outside when there's no shelter to hide. When everything is a lie, you'll find that out in some time. But when the things...
But towns around us, like within half an hour or an hour of us, were just totally devastated. I mean, completely destroyed. Houses falling into the river running down Main Street in Red Lodge, Montana. And these are places that I'm used to just being able to visit and spending time at recreationally, and it's really heartbreaking to see. So, I mean, a lot has changed with our weather in the time that I've been on this planet, and I'll leave it at that, and it's really distressing. So I might leave a link in the show notes below, which everything that I talk about is always linked in the show notes below, but I might leave a link in the show notes below just specifically to Carbon County's like flood relief fund that's helping the businesses and houses just in that one county, which has Red Lodge in it, rebuild, because I'm sure that they could use it. I mean, I understand that Gardner and Yellowstone and those places can use it too, and I understand that everyone is going to get federal money, but if you so feel inclined to assist, I think it would be a good way that you could assist. Other than that, so that said, there've definitely been a lot of bright spots. Granny is doing amazing because it's warm, and she always does really well when it's sunny, and she can go outside on the sidewalk and bake herself and turn herself over and bake the other side, and it just does wonders for her arthritis and also her like mental, like what is day and what is night and what am I doing. So she seems like she is doing really good right now, at least for these summer months. And it's been really nice to have my husband home for the summer. Like, I feel like so many things are going wrong right now, but on the other hand, like, there's a lot that I am actually having fun with, you know. I tend to keep a pretty late schedule. I stay up pretty late and then I sleep in pretty late just because I've always been a night owl. And usually he's very opposite that. He gets up very early for work, and we see each other, you know, after he gets off work and before he goes to bed, and he goes to bed at like 10. But And in the summer, he stays up a little later, like an hour or two later, but not much. But he's been staying up really late with me, and that's really nice to just have that, like, be on the same schedule, sleep in together, get up together, sit around, have our coffee, do our thing, and then, you know, stay up late, watch movies or whatever. So I've been really enjoying that. We've been getting a lot of, like, just, I say we, I mean him. He's been getting a lot of, like, just yard work and stuff done so it looks nice outside. And I've been sitting and knitting and watching him because that's not something that I can really do. But still, it's nice to be able to spend time with him and stuff that I don't get to during the school year. I've been knitting a lot because that is one thing I feel like I can do right now, and I can do it, and I can do it successfully without messing it up. It's a huge stress relief, and it's great therapy. So I'm knitting, and I'm taking my knitting to my doctor's appointments while I wait to see my doctors, while I wait to see my therapist, while I wait to see my specialist, you know, and it's just really like, oh, the wrong thing doesn't come out. I don't knit the wrong stitch, you know, like I say the wrong word, and I'm good at it, and it works, and it's like, this is something I can do and be successful at and not have everybody looking at me like, do you need to go to the doctor? And I know they mean well, I really do, but also, like, when you already know that you're already having problems and you already know you're doing everything you can to mitigate it, and then you can't say the right words and they're like, are you okay? Do we need to, like, call somebody? You're like, no, really, this is just me, okay? And I used to get that way with my breathing when I still was making an effort to work, and really probably shouldn't have been. I would have random strangers while I was working come up to me and ask me if I was okay or if they needed me to call 911. And I'm like, no, I'm at work. I'm all right. I just happen to be that shade of red. Thanks. So, and I used to tell my doctor, I swear to God, if one more person comes up to me and asks me if they need to call 911 or if I'm okay or do I need to sit down so I can breathe, I'm gonna lose my shit. I kind of feel that way about my speech right now. Like, the next person that asks me if I'm having a stroke is gonna get flipped off. And they mean well, they really do. They just don't know that, like, it's not that. So anyway, a little bit of admin. We have the InclusionMAL going on right now, which I am still in love with, you guys, and I've been watching your posts on Instagram and Instagram, and I've been peeking in on the Ravelry group. I know that I don't, like, post a lot in the Ravelry group, but I do go in and I like all of your projects. I see them. I'm there. I'm just not a big chatter on Ravelry. It's not my thing. I post all of my projects on Ravelry. It is going through July 31st, so you still have 5 or 6 weeks to jump in on that if you would like. It's pretty much a free-for-all. You can make whatever you want. All you have to be able to do is tell me how it is inclusive. How does it promote inclusivity of whatever you want to promote inclusivity of? I get a lot of questions about, well, what yarns qualify or what patterns qualify. I don't have a list. I do have, like on Ravelry, I have a couple of posts with a bunch of links that have like some suggestions as starting points, but that's by no means all inclusive. And I do have on my last podcast some links, I think, of dyers was what I was asked for. But again, by all means, that is not all inclusive. Like, it can be whatever you want to promote inclusion of. You know, I list a bunch of things and I say, like, it could be mental health, or it could be queer, or it could be disabled, or BIPOC, or autism, or whatever, but it doesn't have to be one of those things. It could just be anything that's important to you that you feel needs to be made, that people need to be made aware should be more inclusive. We should be more inclusive of. and you just need to be able to tell me how the project that you're making supports that. Is it the yarn that you bought? Is it the colors that you're using? Is it Lugs is trying to make a nest out of the curtains? What the hell? Is it the store that you bought it at? Is it the pattern designer? Is it the picture that you're painting? Does it represent that? You know, and again, so it's a make along. You can do whatever you want. Just know that all the prizes are yarny related. That said, I'm loving your projects. They're so much fun and I love seeing them, and I love learning the new things that I'm learning, like which dyers are inclusive and how they're inclusive, which pattern makers are inclusive and how they're inclusive, learning things about pattern makers that I just did not know, and you know, whether it's their ethnicity and their background, or whether it is something that they donate to, or you know, something that like the material support, or you know, anything like that. It's just super fun for me. It's really cool, and that's the whole point of the make along, is to bring that to the forefront and remind us all that, you know, the fiber community is super welcoming in my experience, and it's a way for us to explore the diversity within it while keeping that in mind. I don't know why Lugs is having a cow over there, but she is, and I'm sorry because I'm sure you can hear her. Lugs, what are you doing? You're fine. So in tone with that, I have a discount card from Binta from Arctic Crafts. She is one of our prize sponsors, and I will show you the yarn that she has donated for us in a bit, but I have a coupon code for her Etsy shop, which is Arctic Crafts by Binta, and the coupon code is Bean Pride 15, which I'll put down here, and that is 15% off anything except for self-striping and custom orders. We all know self-striping is a bitch to die, so by all means, please earn all your money on that. And that's good through the end. I think I just already said that, but it's good through the end of July. So definitely go and check out Binta's shop and see if there's something in there that you adore and you would love. She is a wonderful dyer, and I am going to show you something really cool from her later in addition to the prize. The other coupon code that I have is from Katie of Knitty Knitting Sacks, because you know that I am a bit of a hoe for Knitty Knitting Sacks. That is Bean 15, and that gets you 15% off at her Etsy store as well. It is a make along, so anything is allowed. Just do keep in mind that all the prizes are fiber oriented. So that said, I did get a couple more of the prizes in the mail, so I'm very close to being all wrapped up on that. I think I might be getting one or two more things to go in the bags, which is super exciting, and they're going to be really amazing packages, you guys. I know I've shown the bags, and I've shown have I shown other stuff? I'm going to show a little bit of the yarn today, and some stitch markers and some other things. So they're going to be great. There's going to be some a book of patterns in them, and it's going to be great. So that is going on both on Instagram and Ravelry. On Instagram, you can use the hashtag InclusionMAL 2020 or InclusionMAL FO 2020. I'm going to draw a prize both from WIPs and from FOs. And on Ravelry, in the Knitted Bean podcast group, there is a thread for chatter and there's a thread for FOs. And again, I'll draw a prize from each of those for a total of 4 prizes. The mail runs through the end of July. So you've got 5 or 6 weeks, depending on when I get this edited and out. In happy news and knitting, I have been watching an absolute shit ton of knitting podcasts lately because I was in a funk And so I didn't watch any for like a week and a half. And I have a big list of people that I watch. And so if I don't watch any for a week and a half, that's like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days straight of watching knitting podcasts to catch up on. And one thing that I noticed in knitting podcasts is that every time somebody pulls out a project and they're in the middle of a row, they apologize for being in the middle of the row. And they're like, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a row. I know I shouldn't stop in the middle of a row. Give me 1 second to get to the end of it. And I don't think I understand. Like, I understand in one way, which is that if the end of the row is situated like at the side of a sweater or something like that, and you're on circular needles and they're stiff enough that they're gonna like point funny and make the sweater look funny when you hold it up, then yeah, sometimes it pays to get to the end of the row so that it hangs straight. But for me, like, you can do that at the end of the row, or you can point them straight forward, or you can point them straight back. Like, you just can't be at a diagonal, basically, right? But for like every other project, I don't really understand why it matters if you stopped in the middle of the row. I guess I never learned this. I learned how to knit in high school, and by that I mean I learned the knit stitch and the purl stitch, and I made a washcloth, and then on straight needles that were like, you know, your grandma's stabbing needles. And I didn't really pick it. I loved it, but I didn't really pick it back up until 6 or 7 years ago now. I guess probably about 7 years ago now. And from there, I knew the knit stitch and I knew the purl stitch. And I had like a little tiny beginner's how to knit book that went over the knit stitch, the purl stitch, a long tail cast on, a regular cast off, and I think that was it. It didn't even tell you how to join in the round. And then I YouTubed everything, and nobody on YouTube ever told me like, yo, it's a cardinal sin to stop in the middle of a row. And so I guess I just don't understand, like, why is it a cardinal sin to stop in the middle of a row? I do it all the time. In fact, I very rarely stop right before or right after my beginning of round marker, because then if I haven't actually highlighted, and even if I have sometimes, the row that I'm on, I won't remember what row I was on, right? I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, I see I have row 19 highlighted. Does that mean I was just finishing row 19 and I went 3 stitches past? Or does that mean I'm 3 stitches into row 19? Right? Whereas if I go and I'm, 29 stitches into row 19, I can hold that up and I can read row 19. I can like read my knitting, and then I can compare it to the pattern and be like, oh yes, that series of stitches is what row 19 is. I know I'm on row 19, right? And yes, I know if I'm all the way over at my beginning of round marker, I can also read the row below. I just find that a little bit harder to do. Not reading the stitches, but just recognizing that row and what that row is on the chart. Especially if it's multiple rows that are very similar. So if I highlight row 19 and I'm 29 stitches in, I know for a fact that I'm on row 19 and I'm 21 stitches in. And that's how I do it. Like, I always stop in the middle of the row. It's like, can somebody tell me down below, why is it that you're not supposed to stop in the middle of the row? Like, does it like pull your stitch wonky or something? Because I just like pull it tight again. I do not understand. Anyway, that's just been on my mind because so many people are doing it on their podcast. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I got to get to the end of the row. And I'm like, why? Why do you have to get to the end of the row? I don't understand. But then there's probably a lot of cardinal rules of knitting that I don't really understand. I know I don't do my color work the right way either, but it works for me. So I think that's like my motto of knitting is you do it however you do it. As long as it works for you and you are happy with the result, who cares? If you don't block with blocking mats, well, I don't care. So I think that that is all that I have for like life catch up. On to the rest of the shit show today. I'm sorry it's so like out of it, but it just is what it is. So first of all, what am I wearing? I don't think I've worn this on the podcast in a bit. This is my diaphanous raglan by Jessie Made Designs, and it's in an alpaca from Illimani and a lace weight from Das Mannschaft, the contents of which are long gone to memory but are on my Ravelry page. And I love this thing. It's got a long ribbing on the bottom, which I would show you, but I can't really stand up right now on my tippy toes. Oh wait, yeah, there you can see it. And it's a V-back in the front and a V-back in the back. So it's kind of it's a spring fall shirt. It's a little bit warmer than just like a plain merino shirt would be because of the alpaca, but because I'm inside in the AC, I can get away with it as long as I don't drink something hot like coffee or tea. It's very soft. I love it, and I love the design. I really want to make another one of these days with either like 3/4 length sleeves or maybe even long sleeves, but more of a like fall winter one. It's on my list. I do really love this design. So that's what I'm wearing. So finished objects. I got nothing. I came very close and then I paused, and I will show you why on my first work in progress, which is this. Oh, I see what I was doing. So this is Kobasi, which is the cotton bamboo silk elastic mix in the color chocolate milk of all the colors. And this is this is another Jessie Made Designs, which I can't apparently hold up. Hang on. There we go. This is the Ripple Bralette. And it's, wow, very similar colors. Okay, so this is the Ripple Bralette, and as you can see, it's like 3x3 ribbing, fingering weight. It's extremely stretchy. And I was thinking that it'd be really nice in the Kobasi because it's cotton, soft, breathable, but elastic, so it still like retracts. And Kobasi was one of the suggested substitutes. And I don't know what the deal is. I know it's hard to gauge ribbing, but I am technically on gauge as far as I can tell. And I thought I chose the right size, so I chose a 3X, which is about what I wear in most things. This might be a 3X or a 2X. And based on the measurements that it gave, like I thought that was the right size. I don't remember the exact measurements, but it said like, you know, use 9 to 11 inches of negative ease for a tight bra, like a fitted bra. And the 3X said that it was for like a 52 to 54 or something like that inch chest, and the actual measurement of the bra was like 45 or something. So like the measurement of the bra would have been within that range of negative ease, right? But guys, this is huge. I know it doesn't look huge like this, but it's huge. huge. I got it up to 1 cup and then decided, oh, I'll try that on. And let me just show you. Because they were like, try it on, make sure it goes over your shoulders. Well, you can see that went over my shoulders very easily, right? Mind you, this is over a shirt. This is over like a fingering weight shirt with a bra underneath it. Oh, that's the back. I need the front. Okay. And I'm a 53-inch chest. Okay. So this is what it's like. That's a little loose. Like, a little loose. Like, it shrips back in because it's elastic, but it's huge. Like, huge. So, I paused on that. In rethinking it, I think that I probably should have made like a 1X if I actually, because I did actually want it to fit kind of tight, like a bra, like a sports bra, like a lazy around that. What did I tell someone? I wanted to be a boob sweat rag for around the house. Like when it's hot and I just want to be around the house and I have under boob sweat, because if you have boobs, you know you have this. I just wanted to just take care of the under boob sweat for me. And this is like, I lift my hands up and the band just, so I think if I actually wanted it that tight, I would need to go down like 2 sizes to a 1X maybe, so that I actually have like 8 inches of negative ease when it's fairly stretched but still goes over my shoulders. So then I was like, well, I literally have 1 cup and a little bit of whatever these are, I can't, the word is gone, strap left to do. Should I just frog this whole thing and start over? Or what? It's a little frustrating. So I paused on it. I really liked my husband's suggestion, and I think that's what I'll do. I'm almost done. I think I'll just finish it. I will stretch it out, do the stretched measurements and the unstretched measurements, and then I will just, if there's somebody who wants it on here, you can message me and I will find somebody who it fits and somebody can have it, because I put a lot of work into making it and I don't really feel like unmaking it, and I don't really feel like making another one. So I'm just going to finish it and it'll be, you know, whoever it fits. Great, wonderful, lovely. It's gorgeous. So that was my Jessie Made Ripple Bralette. I think that's like a, I don't know, it's like a $10 or a $12.50 pattern that, let me see if I wrote it down. I did not. But she has a pay-as-you-can plan, and so if you're signed up for her newsletter, you can get the codes. If you can't pay the full amount, then you can pay less, varying amounts. So I still think Jessie is a great designer. I think that perhaps the sizing suggestions could be a little more clear about whether or not that 9 to 11 inches of ease is when it's stretched or when it's loose, because I think that what's written down are measurements when it's loose. That's how the garment is knit up and measured and things, but to actually get it tight, I think you would have to have 9 to 11 inches of negative ease when it's stretched. So that's my Ripple Bralette. I'm gonna fly right through the next 2 because I haven't done anything on them. These are my Be Creative socks by Ducathy, which I'm making for a friend. I haven't done anything on them. My brain has not been in a place to do stranded color work. It's okay. They get done when they get done. These are my Wild Garden socks, or the Garden Path. No. What are these? What is the name of these? These are the Wild Garden socks, and I'm doing the Garden Path version in some hand-dyed yarn by Hannah of the Corner of Craft, as well as a mini from her advent calendar last year. I have one done. I have not started the other one. These are for me. I love them. I like the Fleegle heel. I love the pattern. It's super easy and memorizable. I just haven't been in a sock mood right this hot minute. That said, Yarnia is doing a sock bingo for the summer, and I'm on it. I'm ready. I have my bingo card. And as soon as the Sock Mojo comes back for me, I'm gonna fly through that. I'm sure I can knit 5 socks in, like, I don't know, 2 weeks if I try. So I'm gonna do it. I will bingo. So there's those two. Then I have my lapis, which I would really love to get back to working on, but I have been delayed, and that's okay. So this is in a knotty knitting sack, because of course it is. It's also a hot mess. This has 1,000,001 stitch markers on it because you mark out the lace, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but I went ahead and did it for this one. It's probably a good thing for my brain right now. It is in Lobby Enemy and Lola Bean, and it's the lapis. It's like very curled up at the end just because it's this like chevron lace. This is by Yamagara Knits. This is the bottom. Bloop. I'm just into where I'm starting the color stripes, which is really hard to see, but I'm starting the color stripes, and then the gray will be the main body color. So I've been dying to get back to work on this, but I'm also like dying to work on my other project. And so it's, you know how it is when you have 2 projects that you're just like really into, and I mean you only have time to do one at the moment. So this is the Lola Bean, and it's the navy bean base, which is 100% merino, and it's the Calm colorway, which I love. And this is the Lobby Enemy, which is gray, and it has these really cool speckles in there on camera. That match. And I'm not going to try and pronounce the colorway. It's N-A-U-G-E-S. That I know. Loving it. Loving my fucking bunnies bag from Cummings. Because of course knotty knitting sacks come from Cummings. That's what Neil's at the ready points out. Oh my god. Okay, speaking of Aquila and knotty knitting sacks. If you don't watch Aquila, the Lefty Knitter podcast, you need to go do that, for one. And then for 2, she had Katie stop by. And they were talking about various bags and stuff. And Aquila never realized that the logo is a D. If you know what I mean. And I'm like, oh, the gray didn't show up very well. You gotta get the gray down here and the gray over here. Yeah, it's a D. And she's like, I never realized that was a penis. That was the first thing that hit me when I saw her logo on Etsy. I was like, she has a dick for a penis, or a dick for a penis, duh. She has a dick for a logo. It was so great. So that is the Lapis by Yamagara Knits. No, just by Yamagara. So I can't wait to get back to that one and finish it up, because that's like going to be a summer knit for me, and I really, really, really want to try it on. Then I've got my last work in progress, which is my test knit. This is also in one of my naughty knitting sacks in my like little gamer bag, which I love. This is like my sweater bag. It has a handle, and I special ordered it, and it's perfect, and I take it everywhere. And I totally take this to the pulmonologist yesterday and knit out of it at the pulmonologist, and I did not care that the entire like waiting room was like, are those gay mermaids? Which, I live in Montana, so trust me, everybody looked. All right, so this is my test knit. This is, I was calling it the Paju pullover, but it's not pronounced that way. It's pronounced Pau pullover. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is right. And it is being made out of the yarn cake the size of my head, which is now got a giant gaping hole in the middle. So, you know, it is what it is. Big hole. This is Woolbarrow, the Woolbarrow soft Donegal tweed. It's a single tweed, 100% merino, that I am freaking in love with, you guys, because it has flecks of green. There we go. It has flecks of green and this like fuchsia pink that I'm not really a pink person, but paired with this, it's just perfect. Like right here. Oh yeah, I'm all over that. So, I'm loving it. It's a single. I know some people were worried about, you know, me knitting a garment out of a single, but it's super duper sturdy, and I have some lace weight of it that I have frogged 3 times, and it's still going strong, so I'm really not worried about it. It also does have apparently a little bit of yarn burst because I'm pulling out of the center, but it also does have some of those same properties as like the Norwegian wools, where it's very sticky and rustic, and so I'm sure you could, if you really yanked at it, pull it apart, but as you knit it together, it like glues itself together and becomes very, very strong. So guess what, guys? I'm in the middle of a row. I also don't care. So this is the Pau pullover. I can't tell if that's on camera, but I hope it is. It is gorgeous, you guys. I am doing the short sleeve version, and she did say that we could, like, you know, fiddle with the sleeve length or the body length if we wanted, or even do a little bit of shaping, which I think if I was doing like a zero ease version on this, I would add some shaping to it, but I'm not. I'm doing the recommended ease, which is 3 or 4 inches. I don't remember right off the top of my head, so I'm not really inclined to do shaping with that kind of fit. But I did lengthen the sleeves by 1 inch on the short sleeve version because I wanted them to go right down to my elbow instead of stopping just a little bit above it, because I just, elbow length right past your elbow and 3/4 length sleeves are my jam. That's where I'm at. I don't push up my sleeves all the time and stretch out my sweaters that way, and yet I'm also not getting my sleeves messy when I have to eat or cook or do anything like that, you know. It's still warm, but it's not like in the way. So Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's got like this twisted rib everywhere. And I know some people are not a fan of like 1x1 twisted rib, but it's kind of my jam. I really like it and I can really get in the rhythm with it. So it just does not bother me. And then it's got cables in twisted rib, you guys. Look at these. They're gonna block out. I haven't blocked it yet, so look at that. Oh my god, it's gonna be amazing. So I tried once before on a sock to like cable without a cable needle, and it was just 1x1 cables, and I just wasn't, I guess I was not doing it right. Now that I think about it and know, I was like not ever taking the stitch fully off the needle. So she did, in our little test knit group chat on Instagram, she did like a little Instagram demo for us of cabling left and cabling right without the cable needle, and I was like, oh, I see. And this yarn is really rustic and sticky and it doesn't go anywhere, so I thought this would be the perfect like project to try it on. So I did cable both of these sleeves without the cable needle. I think the first like 2 or 3 rounds took me a really long time, and then after that I was just like, phew, okay. I probably for the first sleeve I would have still been faster if I used a cable needle, but by the time I got to the second sleeve I was like, nope, I'm definitely faster without now. So that's where I'm at. I'm on the body. I'm a couple of inches, it's a little rolled. I'm a couple of inches into the body, and I have a whole body to go basically, and then there will be more of that cabled ribbing at the bottom. I can't wait to wear it. I've got until the 11th, so I've got about 20 days to finish it. Easy peasy. I am marking my spot with my D&D stitch marker / project keeper, progress keeper, not project keeper, from Hannah at the Corner of Craft. And sneak peek, are you ready? What is that? Is that a knitted bean? It might be. I'm in love with it too. So yeah, that's my pie pullover. Super excited, loving it to death. Love this color. I have wanted a rust orange sweater for over a year. I bought the yarn a few months or whatever ago before I started the test knit, and I was like, this is the color, finally. And I bought it, and then I was like, I'll find the pattern. And then the pattern came into my world. So this is like my perfect sweater right now. Which tells you why, as much as I want to be knitting on my lapis, I haven't knit on it because I'm addicted to this. That's all I've got for knits. I am going to show acquisitions. I have got quite a bundle, and a couple of prizes, and a really hilariously good reading rec. So if you are interested in those, hang around. If you're not, feel free to just dip out of here right now. No harm, no foul. But I would like to say thank you for watching, and you know, if you enjoy my content and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Definitely drop me a comment below. Let me know what you're knitting on, and if you're going to enter it in the InclusionMAL, because I am and then I just realized I forgot one thing. I'll be right back. Oh darn, I thought I snuck in and snuck out without waking up the dogs, but Lugs is on to me. Okay, so I was talking with Benta from Arctic Crafts on Instagram, which I do pretty frequently, and we decided to do a yarn swap out of our stashes. It would be a chance for me to send her some things in my stash that I thought that she would like, and for her to send me some things from her stash that she thought I would like. And just a nice way to get a little bit of happy whale without having to budget and spend the same amount of money as you would if you were like buying that amount of yarn from like indie dyers or whatever. So because all we have to do is pay shipping, right? So I got a glorious good box from her, which I love, and I'm so excited to play with. And I feel like I've done really good because I've only, I have only busted into one thing, even though I got it quite a while ago because I've been saving it for the podcast. She has not gotten her box from me yet, which I would like to attribute to USPS and how absolutely terrible like the whole management situation with that is right now. Like, I love my postal people, you guys. Like, there's no doubt about that. I'm in there all the time and they're wonderful people. But like, the situation that those wonderful people are working under is not ideal. And so I am pretty sure that it is not like Norway Post's problem that the box has not gone there yet. It's like logistical nightmare on the US side, because this seems to be a regular thing. Like, people in other countries send me packages and they get here like reasonably fast. Like, still, like, we're still in pandemic times, but reasonably fast. And then I send them things and like a couple of months later they get it. So it's a struggle. It's not like any individual post person's fault at all. It's just the organizational structure is not great. So I got 4 skeins of indie dyed yarn and 2 skeins of Rauma, which I'm super excited about because I've wanted to try for a while and it's not like uber duper accessible here in the US. I got some goodies to go with that. So let's start with the goodies, and let's just admit I ate the chocolate. It's gone. It had like chocolate here that the alligator is eating. But I don't know like if she knows this, but she like pegged my very favorite thing in the world, which is salted caramel and chocolate. So I managed to resist this for, I want to say 2 weeks, and then I just had a breakdown and I had to have it. It was really good too. I was like, I can't keep staring at it, it's too good. But I really like the little alligator, and I kind of want to keep the little alligator and do something with him. I don't know, we'll see. He might end up on my needle thing over there. Then I got a whole box of Puka Earl Grey tea, which smells really good, and I was really like, I'm gonna have a glass or a cup today while I record. I even got this one out to make it, and then I was like, it's pretty warm. I should probably wait till it cools off tonight before I do that. And I went with my Diet Coke. So this is gonna be for tonight when it's not 85 degrees outside. And then I got some stitch markers, which are, well, guy doesn't want to hang down. Boop. They're actually stitch marker progress keeper combo. So you can flip the little ring and do either one, blue and green, which of course I'm all for blue and green. My Rauma is of course green. What would you guys do with this? I have spent many a fun hour already perusing Ravelry, trying to decide what I want to do with this. I have a little bit of a maybe idea. So this is 175, 350 meters total, and it's a fingering weight. What would you guys do? I am of the mind that this would be some really great mittens and hat. Like some mittens with some texture, you know, because the non-super washables hold the textures really good. or some color work mittens. I do have a cream oatmeal, I guess is the color, non-superwash that I could put with this and do some color work too. So any pattern suggestions there? Color work, or I really like the idea of fingering weight textured mittens and hats. So if you got ideas, let me know. I'm all for this, and it can go in my stash now on the green side. Then just a couple little minis. These are this is a merino and this is a Polworth, which I really like Polworth. It's so nice. So heels, toes, and cuffs. And I have Trick or Treat, which, okay, that's blowing out a little. There we go. This is an 80/20, which is my favorite base. It's a Nicole C. Mendez yarn. So she tried to send me like all European dyers that I'm not gonna be running into over here, which is awesome. And I think I mostly sent her one European dyer, but then I think I sent mostly American, going the other way. So these are gonna be some Halloween socks this year. That's exciting. Oh, can't really turn my back. I have like screwed my back up day before yesterday or yesterday. It's not happy. Then I've got All's Wool That Ends Wool, which is awesome. It's a 75/25 and the colorway is Viola Light. And what I love about this is that this little end has these speckles. See that? That's super cool. And then all of this is the two-tone. So I feel like this, I mean, it could be some really cool socks, but this could also be really cool in a shawl because of this little speckle section, don't you think? I don't know. I am like, I don't know. It's gonna be great. I also really like on the tag, the cat. The cat is great. Then we have Countess Ablaze. It's funny, you can just see like my color palette here is green and purple. There's a little bit of red over here, but it's mostly green and purple. So this is Countess Ablaze. It's another 75/25, but this is a BFL. And the colorway on this is Blind Date. Have you guys ever been on a blind date? I have been on. It did not go well. It did not go well. He told me on our first blind date that he named all of his video game characters after his favorite porn stars. And I was like, that's not a second date, buddy. I don't care if that's your thing and you like that, but that's not first blind date material discussion. See why you get set up on blind dates and you don't just like meet people on your own. Oh lordy. This feels like very plump and these dark plummy. I'm picking hair off of it because it's been chilling on the bed and the dogs sleep on the bed. So it's got a little doggy hair. Oh god, that goes good with everything else. And then you guys, the amazing thing. Oh, I'm trying to remember back. I think I did mention before, but I'm not sure. I know I've talked about it all over Discord, but Binta was in a little bit of a creative slump one evening, morning, my night, her morning, and asked me what my favorite colors were in order to get some inspiration to dye a colorway. And thus, the colorway Echo was born. Because my favorite colors are purple and green. So she sent me one skein and I got to pick the base, and I went with the Sweary Silk Cloud because I want to do another rocket tee with Sweary instead of mohair, and I think that this would be just a really fun color to do as the mohair stripe. I haven't totally decided like what color to pair with it. Probably either a solid dark purple, but maybe like a tealy green like this, or like the neon-y green like here. I just love this. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's some sexy yarn. I don't care who you are. So I think she still has one skein of Sweary of this left. I think. It's been a few days since I've gone and oogled. I know she has a skein or two of it on a couple other bases. So if you love this colorway, go snag it. If you love this colorway enough that you want more than a skein of it, go message her and she can do a custom order for a sweater quantity for you. Because I know it's tempting. It's so good. It's so good. Look at that. So good! So I'm anxiously waiting hearing from her when she gets my package that I sent her. Because I love sending people things. Then, just something tiny and fun for my scooter. That did not feel good. I got a sticker from the Naughty Knittress, which is Andy. She has a podcast as well, and she is from Roseburg, Oregon, which is a place that I lived for quite a while when I was a kid. And so I really wanted like a sticker from there to go on my scooter, and even better if it says the Naughty Knittress. The Naughty Knittress and the Cranky Knittress are her business names for her cranking service. And like online yarn store that she is getting going. She's just getting rolling on a like online, I want to call it like an online LYS, right? Like it's not just yarn, it's also like notions and stuff. So she's just getting rolling on that. She's got a few things in there. She's doing stitch markers, stickers, cranking services, and I know that she has spoken about how she's like in the works of starting to get various hand dyers in there. It takes a little bit of time, you know. You can't just be like, hey, I'm gonna start a business. There's things that you gotta do. So there was that, and I was excited about that. Then as I was washing my husband's and my socks, I realized that I am almost out of wool soap. And I'm picky. I don't want to have to rinse. I'm just not doing it. Also, I do not want to be doused in patchouli. I don't care if it smells like patchouli, but like, I don't want to be doused. I don't want to be doused in anything. I don't want to be doused in Wild Breeze either, or vanilla. Like, I like the scent. I want a scent, but I do not want it so strong it gives me a migraine. So it's got to be, you know, scented, but lightly. No rinse. And it has to be in bar form. And the reason that I do that is because when you buy a thing of eucalyptus and it's 16 ounces, it says to use 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. And your average bathroom sink holds 2 to 3 gallons depending on how full you fill it. So if you put in 3 tablespoons every time you wash it because it's holding 3 gallons, that bottle of eucalyptus is going to last you like 33 washes. Okay? I bought a bar of Bull Wash 2 years ago and I'm just now running out. So every bar I've ever read says something like, good for at least 99 washes. I'm not going to count how many times I've washed because there's no way to do that, but I can tell you it's going to last a while. Depends on how lathery you get, and it depends on how often you wash things, but it lasts. And so for me, a bar is like $10 plus $5 shipping, or Eucalyptus is like $16. The way better deal is bar. So the person that I bought my yarn bar from was Aiden at Undercover Otter, and they no longer make handmade wool soap. So I had to go finding another one. And there was a few that I chose from, and in the end, I ended up going with Wool & Co. because it was a no rinse. And I feel like Tuft woolens I would have had to rinse, and that was why that was a no. So it comes in this really cool package, and it looks like this. It's hand cut soap, you know, and it smells just the right amount. I'm super excited. You can feel how lanolin-y it is, which is another thing. It has to have lanolin in it for me because that's the whole point of washing my wools. Oh, okay. Sorry for the interruption, and I have no idea where I was because that was a crazy ass interruption. Somebody's looking for a dog that's running around and attacking people and dogs in our neighborhood. Just not good. That a video. It's not a dog I've ever seen, which is still not good. Anyway, I think I was talking about this. So I got this saffron and honey scent. I haven't tried it out yet because I'm just using up the last of my other one, but I'm really excited about it. And I really love the smell of it. Then we get into the fun things for the inclusion make-along, which is I have yarn from Benta and I have yarn from Geektastic, which, if you've been astute, has been back here the whole time. This is the prize from Benta. This is her Pride mini set that she dyes every year. It is on the merino nylon sock, so 75/25. There is 7 of these at 20 grams each. And this is Pride 2022 on the back. Super saturated and bright. You could do so many fun things with this. From socks, she said somebody had done cool socks with them before. You could do the Litmus Cal by Jude. You could do so many things. Color work, you name it, right? So this is going to go with one of the bags, and all the other various things that are going in the bags. Then I have Geektastic Fibers, and they sent this cool self-striping sock, which is superhero sock, also a 75/25, and the name of this is Ineffable Husbands. If you know, you know. It's a very geeky reference. If you don't know, ask in a comment and I'll tell you, or somebody will. So I'm excited, and let me tell you, if any of the winners are like fans of the show that this is from, let me know and I'll make sure you get that one. So those are the 2 yarns that I have to go with the bags. I think I'm just gonna pick a yarn from my stash that's from an inclusive dyer to round out the bags because I'm still 1 yarn short. And then unless somebody wants to send me a yarn, if you want to send me a yarn, just let me know and I'll give you my address. Then I got these. So this is my bit to donate to the prizes since everybody else is donating cool stuff. I custom ordered from Wallflower Knits some knitted bean stitch markers. I have 4 of these and a 5th for myself. So one of these is going to go in each prize bag. They are polymer clay, super duper light. And as you saw, they fit on a project really well. And they have kind of the medium-sized jump ring. I apologize if you can hear Izzy licking over here. So those will also be going in the bag. So every prize for the InclusionMAL should have a project bag, a yarn from an inclusive dyer, a knitted bean stitch marker, and a book of patterns. So those I'm really excited about. I feel like they're amazing prizes, and I really can't wait to wrap this up. As much as I'm enjoying it going and I don't want to wrap it up, I can't wait to wrap it up and choose winners and get those out to people, because it's just so exciting to be able to do that and see people enjoy winning. So that is it for the acquisitions. My last little thing is reading recommendations. So somebody online clued me into the fact that there is a fandom for yarn, which just blew my mind. Like, you guys know me, I'm all about the fandom and whatever, and apparently my camera, sorry about that, I apparently zoomed my camera out when I answered the door for the dog bite. Anyway, you guys know me, I'm all about the fandom and the reading and the things like that. And it just never occurred to me that there would be fandoms for random, what I consider to be household objects that have been made anthropomorphic, but there are. So I am going to recommend this super cute story, 100% on point for Pride Month, on point for knitting, hilarious, cute. Gotta read it. It's called Curses Foiled Again. It is by Marina Rusalka, and it is on an archive of our own. It is in the fandom, quote, yarn anthropomorphic, and it is a story told by the point of view of all the yarns in the yarn stash. Yeah. So it's like, you know, Malabrigo is talking to Cashmerette, is talking to Red Heart, is talking to the yak silk up on the shelf, right? Like, it's so funny, and it calls out like a lot of the things that like we as crafters do that will make you feel just a little bit seen. And I mean that crafters as a whole, not just knitters. I'm talking about all your paint supplies hidden in the corner. It's rated G, completely PG, not even PG, just like completely G safe for anybody. And it is so fucking cute, you guys. It's about 3,000 words. It's a little less than that, but you gotta read it. I'll put the link below. It's so cute. It's also very Christmas appropriate, and I know that we're in June, but I don't care. The other thing that I have been listening to, not reading, but listening to a lot of has been Case File True Crime, the podcast, which you can get, I'm sure, on any podcast place like Spotify or Stitcher or anything. And it's so funny because it's been around for quite a while and I've never listened to it, even though I do enjoy true crime. I was talking with a friend of mine who lives in Australia, and they were talking about the most hilarious name that they had heard. And they were like, I heard it on, and it was just a really funky name. They were like, I heard it on this podcast that I'm listening to that has the most mundane, monotone Aussie narrator ever. And I was like, are you listening to Case File? Because I'm listening to Case File right now. And she was like, yeah, I am. What case are you on? Because that is the exact, like that right there, how she described it is Case File, exactly. If you're one of those people who does not like the true crime podcasts where they drink wine and giggle because it seems a little bit like that's a little bit too glamorous or glamorizing of crime, or a little bit too like flippant for the topic, or you don't like if like the narrator goes too much into the case like emotionally, or judgmentally one way or the other or whatever. Like, if you're just really picky about your true crime like I am, because you're like, it's a serious topic, and while I'm very interested in it, I kind of really don't want to hear about kind of, I don't know, lasagna you're making while you do it. He's perfect for that because you don't even know his name. The narrator is anonymous, and he just reads everything just very flat affect. There's no big reaction to anything that is really tragic and whatever, so it doesn't like get you wound up, and yet the facts are all there, and it's really well researched and stuff like that. It covers a lot of cases from Australia and also large cases from all over Europe and the US, but it's, if you're into true crime and you're picky about your podcasts, I would highly recommend it if you are not already reading it, like or listening to it, like I'm sure most people are. Then I have, real quick, just a few podcasts that I want to mention. I know I've mentioned a bunch of them throughout here, and I will put links to all of them down below, but in addition to those, I want to throw out their Arkansas Yarncast. I've talked about them before. It is a mother, daughter, and then a friend who all work in the yarn store that the mother owns, and they're hilarious in their interactions while they're chatting. I think they put out an episode once a month, and then they have some smaller little segments that they put out like weekly. But the main episode is just, it's really funny. It's always really funny. And they're trying really hard to hit 500 viewers. They're really close. And they've said that when they hit 500, they will give away a sweater's quantity of hand-dyed yarn. So I think it would be worth your time to go check them out. Maybe that sweater's quantity will be the enticement that my like endorsement has not been so far. I don't know, but go check them out because they are really funny. Then I can't remember, I think I have, I know I've mentioned them before, but I think I've even recommended them before, is We Share Needles, which is a podcast that's two best friends also in Arkansas. They're also just freaking hilarious, super welcoming, super inclusive of everybody, and really blunt and really funny. And they're just down to earth, and I like that kind of podcast. You know, I like the kind of podcast where it's not like all perfectly polished editing and everybody wears makeup all the time, and like people like admit that like sometimes life sucks. So they really hit that note for me, and on top of that, they're like always very vocal about like being inclusive to everything and everyone, and that is really important to me. Then there is Farmer's Daughter Fiber. I think she's calling it Chats with Candace. I could be wrong, but it's the Farmer's Daughter Fiber channel on YouTube, which is Candace English, who's the like genius brain behind Farmer's Daughter Fiber, which is one of my favorite yarns, has started a podcast, and I think she's on episode 4 right now. Another straight up honest, blunt, forward person. I think in the first episode, like, I don't know, 4 minutes in, she dropped a swear word and she was like, oops, sorry, if you don't like swearing, this is not the podcast for you. And I was like, subscribe, because it is the podcast for me. My last one that I'm going to mention, I feel like probably everybody already watches, but I'm going to mention it anyway, in case you don't. And that is RO Knits and Pearls. RO Knits and Pearls has probably like 10,000 or more subscribers. I don't know, maybe 20. I don't know, a ton. So I feel like everybody already watches her. But I really like her. And she is one of those very polished podcasts that's always got makeup and always has editing. And I'm always jealous of her FO pictures because they're so good. And I'm like a total photography nut, so that really gets me. But there are ways in which RO is very, very down to earth and very straightforward. And that hits that same note for me. You know, she is very open about her life and her struggles and why she enjoys podcasting and what she gets out of it. And, you know, very honest talk about mental health, very honest talk about boundaries and things like that. Just, I mean, really interesting stuff like that for me. Her aesthetic style is totally different from mine. She knits in all light pinks, which you know is not my jam, but I don't care because I enjoy listening to her talk about her being excited about the things that she knits, right? It's good. So, and also she's Korean, which I feel like you just do not see a lot of podcasters who are not white and female. So, you know, I'm always excited when I see podcasters who are men, when I see podcasters who, you know, are not white, when I see podcasters who are disabled or who are heavy or what, like, let's have a little diversity in the crowd, you know? I know that there's a very diverse section of knitters, so why are there not a diverse section of podcasters? I love to see that. So check her out if you don't already follow her. I'm sure you probably do, but if you don't, go do it. That's all I've got, you guys. I have talked until my voice is raw and I feel like I've chewed on my tongue, and I have recorded so many sections of this so many times trying to get the right words to come out of my mouth because it's not working. So hopefully I will be back in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll do another check-in for the InclusionMAL. In the meantime, I will try to suck it up and get more active on Instagram again. I was doing really wonderful there for a while, and I just was like totally just mouth not working, not real motivated to talk or interact when I can't seem to get the right words out. So I apologize for that, but hopefully it will get better. In the meantime, please stay safe, stay dry, and stay cool. And there's like so many things wrong with the world that I need you to stay away from right now. I can't even list them all. So do all those things, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you're at, and I'll see you later. Bye.